Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Rangers Reviews pre-match briefing. The team has just been announced for Rangers game against Napoli tonight at the Diego Maradona Stadium in Naples, where Derek Clark is. It's going on the ticker below you, but I'm just going to read you out the Rangers starting 11 and then I'll read the substitutes as well. So the Rangers team is as follows. McGregor in goals. UEFA has it as a back four of Tavernier, King, Davies and Ridvan. Lundstram and Sands in front of the back four with Scott Wright, Malik Tillman and Ryan Kent in behind Alfredo Morelos. Obviously a little bit of flexibility, you'd imagine, within the shape, given Sands is predominantly played in the defence for Rangers, but we know he can play in midfield as well. The Rangers substitute bench: McCrory, McLaughlin, Cholak, Stephen Davis, Matondo, Sakala, Barisic, Arfield, Devine, Alex Lowry, a return for him on the bench. I think might be right in saying, Derek, that's the first time since recovering from injury, as well as Allen as well. I'll read the Napoli team out. There's a few changes for them as well. It's Merritt, Di Lorenzo, Ostigard, Kim, Mario Rui, Ndombele, Lobotka, Elmas, Politano, Simeone and Raspadori. So a few changes for Napoli. Still a very, very strong team indeed. Derek, I'll come right to you in reaction to the team. Firstly, tell us what it's like in the stadium just now and what you make of that team news.
Yeah, the stadium is cracking inside. I've done a little tour from my apartment, which is just outside at the ground. I made it in relatively unscathed, but yeah, we made it in nice, safe and sound. It was a cracking atmosphere outside, bustling with Napoli supporters. Just unfortunate, of course, it was not a strong Rangers following as well to support the team on tonight. In terms of the team, scratching my head as to what the formation could be. Looking at it, a few surprises in there. We were discussing before we came on. Could it be maybe a 5-1-3-1, or is it a 4 at the back? Like you say, Joshua, there is some flexibility, I think, in there. It'll be interesting to see where James Sands will be playing, if he'll play in the back in the defence, or if he'll partner John Lundstram in the middle of the park, because I don't think Malik Tillman and John Lundstram as a midfield pair is going to work necessarily. Delighted to see Ridvan Yilmaz start the game. I was calling for him to get a shot, as many supporters have been for some time now, and he's going to get an opportunity on that left-hand side, so hope he has a good game. Scott Wright, as predicted, starting the game as well, I'd imagine over on the right-hand side, and Morelos getting the nods up front. So I think Rangers are going to need a big performance from him tonight. He's going to have to chase lost causes and really give us all for the team for Rangers to have any hope of achieving anything tonight. But yeah, like you say, Napoli team, a number of changes in there as well, understandably so, given they have had a heavy run of fixtures, and they've got a big game coming up at the weekend as well. And bearing in mind they've already qualified, albeit they do want to get that victory to make sure they finished in top spot. But yeah, as Alan says there, 4-2-3-1 possibly. Hallelujah for Ridvan. Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see how he's going to get on. Likewise, James Sands, as Craig says there. So yeah, an interesting lineup, Joshua. As I mentioned, a few surprises. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst did say yesterday, when I asked him if there's going to be changes to the team, and he did say that will be the case. So yeah, true to his word, there is a number of surprises in there.
Yeah, we'll speak through a few of the different changes that he has made. I think kind of in keeping with Rangers team selection this season, it's very hard to predict both in personnel and shape regarding what they're going to do. James Sands, if he does play in midfield, I think this will be his first start in midfield this season. But let's talk first about Ridvan Yilmaz, who we know will be starting at left back, whether that's left wing back or left back in a 4 or a 5. Derek, big test for him to have what's only his 4th or 5th start for Rangers. He'll be up against a formidable opponent in Politano. But you think it's the right decision to put him in for this game ahead of Borna Barisic?
Yeah, I think so. It just offers Rangers something a little bit different down that left-hand side. Barisic has been pretty steady Eddie, you have to say, that this season, but Yilmaz just offers that little bit more attacking intent, I think. And as we've seen on Saturday, just so many crosses fired into the box, many aimless crosses, not reaching a blue jersey. Rangers need to keep holding the ball tonight. It's essential they do so. And I've been impressed with Yilmaz at the games we have seen him play. I thought he did okay against Dundee in the Cup recently. And it's just really been the Cup games, hasn't it? Queen of the South he played as well, but we haven't really seen much of him. But I think this is a perfect opportunity for him. He has played Champions League football, I'm sure, before for Besiktas, so it's not going to be alien for him. He's a Turkish international, for heaven's sake, so he won't be fazed by this. I think he'll relish it, and hopefully has a good game.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see, as Alan points out here, hopefully we see Yilmaz play through the press. Obviously, something that's been discussed a lot recently is Barisic maybe not always being the most progressive from left back. I think that's pretty kind to put it that way. But a big test for Ridvan up against this level of opposition, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. Let's go on to the midfield, presuming it is a back four or a back five. Whichever way it falls, Derek, James Sands is playing. He's not started all that regularly in the last month and a half. Do you think it will be midfield tonight? I know you were saying you're scratching your head as to whether it was a back five or a back four. I kind of think it will be a 4-2-3-1 with those two really screening the defence, but obviously the opportunity to change it up and be a little bit flexible.
Yeah, possibly. That may be the case. Rangers need Lundstrom to have a good game tonight. He's another player that's been off the boil for some time, and I know he said in that podcast he did recently that he's been carrying an ankle injury. He certainly hasn't looked like the John Lundstrom that we had at the second half of last season. So Rangers need him to be on top form. Big night for James Sands as well. We've not seen him that often of late, but it's a real opportunity for him tonight to stake a claim and show what he's all about. So yeah, big night for a number of players. Leon King's another one where just by default I think that he's been thrust in there based on the fact that Connor Goldson's out injured for some time, but another big night for him in terms of his footballing education. And it's just fortunately he's got Ben Davis alongside him, who I've been really impressed with. Fingers crossed he stays clear of injury, because he has shown his class, I think, for Rangers. Domestically, certainly. And Rangers need a bit of composure, a bit of calmness at the back, I think, especially tonight where they're going to be under the cosh for large spells of the game. Napoli have got some cracking players. You mentioned Raspadori and Politano and what have you. They've got a great bench to select from as well, which I imagine that Luciano Spalletti will be looking upon at some point in the game. So it's a big night, not only for the starting 11, but for the substitutes also. Ryan Kent, we need him to have a big game. How many times have we been saying that before games? And Scott Wright is an opportunity for him. I did say that he's sort of Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's go-to man for many of these European matches. You just hope that he's going to be good in possession and not give the ball away cheaply as he's often prone to do. So yeah, big night for the team here tonight. I didn't hold out much hope, I think, the last few days. I think a respectable defeat I think would be acceptable, as long as the supporters who are watching on TV and the very small number who are in this stadium tonight see that bit of fight, heart and desire, and a bit of organisation as well that's been missing for large spells. And also you don't want the team to capitulate as well. So big night for the team and for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst as well, as the pressure mounts.
Yeah, definitely. We'll just speak about a couple more players before we just have a final word on the game. Derek, Alfredo Morelos, if he plays to the fullness of his potential, which hasn't happened all that much for a multitude of reasons in the last number of months, then this is a game where you feel he could excel if he's got space around him, able to get Rangers up the pitch. I thought in the home leg against Napoli, which obviously was a bit of a skewed game because of the red card, the James Sands red cards on the hour, I thought Morelos did well up against the Napoli defence within reason, and helped Rangers to get up the pitch and gave them a physical presence and a link option that I don't think Čolak does. But obviously we scored 2-3 goals this season. Everyone knows the struggles that he's been through, again injury-wise, and also with being left out the team earlier in the season. All it takes maybe is one game for him to re-announce himself and maybe pay back or earn back some of the trust that he's lost in the last few months. Derek, do you think it's the right decision to start him? I mean, I definitely think if Rangers are going to spend a lot of time against the ball and need an avenue forward, you want Morelos up there. The question is, can he provide the performance, like we spoke about this morning, like a Dortmund away, when he can be the difference maker up against such a top class opposition?
Yeah, I hope so, Joshua. But the jury's out on that one. Like I said earlier on in our morning briefing, that he had a chance against Dundee. He wasn't alone. The whole team had a bit of a stinker that night. But Rangers really need him to turn up this evening. I understand. I can see the reasoning why he's playing ahead of Antonio Cholak. And Rangers need him to bust a gut tonight, chasing a lost cause. He's given the Napoli defence a hard time. But I mean, as I mentioned earlier on as well, Tammy Abraham was the Roma centre forward charged with that responsibility on Sunday, and the Napoli defence contended with him really well. They brought Belletti on, and he never had much joy either. So Morelos really needs to have one of those special European evenings tonight. I think the defending starts from the front as well, so he's got to be chasing down lost causes, harrying defenders, making it uncomfortable for them. And that can maybe spread throughout the team. So, fingers crossed he has a vintage El Buffalo display. But, whether he has or not, it remains to be seen, because he's another one, like many players, who really haven't had the best of season so far.
Nigel saying Derek or Napoli at full strength. I think there's been a few changes, which the manager alluded to yesterday, but it's still a pretty strong team, isn't it? I don't think they're significantly weakened. Is that fair from what you took from the press conference yesterday?
Yeah, he's made changes. The manager, they just came off a busy fixture schedule, and they've got, like I mentioned earlier on, they've got a game at the weekend. They're top of Serie A, and I think that is a priority, especially now they've qualified as well. Serie A means everything to Napoli. Ian asked the Napoli supporter yesterday about their chances of winning the league title, and he says it's far too early for that. They came close last season. They were up in and about it last season, and they fell away in the final third of the season. So, but they certainly get the players to do so. They've got a great squad in Napoli. Even with the changes that Spalletti has made, they're still a formidable force, and they're going to give Rangers a real testing evening here tonight. So everyone needs to be on top of their game.
Okay, just finally, Derek, before I let you go and enjoy the atmosphere at the stadium, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst said yesterday that Rangers couldn't just sit back and wait for damage, so to speak. Away from home, I think his team's performances in Europe, aside from that PSV game, have been pretty unconvincing. Neither really strong defensively, nor posing that much threat on the counter-attack. Obviously, that's, I think, a relatively offensive lineup for Napoli away, especially when you consider Wright, Tillman and Kent and behind Morelos and Ridvan at left-back. What do you think that the manager needs tonight in terms of performance? And also, how important is it that Rangers don't capitulate, as they have done probably at 3 different points in this group stage so far, to try and regain again some of that trust in the process and the system that I think for a lot of people probably isn't there at the moment?
You just need the players to play for him. He was asked after Saturday if he still has the belief and trust from the players, and he says he does, and he hopes he does. And we need to see that from the players tonight, that they are playing for the manager, and there is that mental strength there and fight and determination to rectify this poor run of form. As I mentioned earlier, the Rangers supporters will accept the defeat. Likewise, remember at Ibrox, where of course it's disappointing to lose any game, but there was fight and desire in that game, and it was just unfortunate that Rangers were in that one until James Sands gets sent off, and then they're up against it. So as long as you put in a Rangers type performance here tonight, Joshua, then I think the fans would accept whatever result comes their way. In terms of capitulations, they've shown a mental fragility, this team recently, and it's up to them to show that they can get over that. Questions are rightly being posed to the side about their mental strength just now, and it's up to them to deliver and make the supporters think that this group of players can deliver some good performances, some good results, and can go on and challenge for the league title at the end of the day. At the moment, a lot of fans are get no belief in the manager. There's no doubt about it. A lot of them want a managerial change. Whether that's right or wrong, who knows? But certainly the performances suggest that this team have maybe ran its course. That they just lack dynamism and a bit of that entertainment factor more than anything else in the last couple of games in particular. It's been a chore to watch Rangers. It's been pretty boring to watch. You hear folk leaving at half time and what have you, which is not good. So, listen, I think it's going to be a dogged, workman-like performance here tonight. They're going to be under the cosh, but as long as they roll the sleeves up and put in 100%, then I think that's all you can ask, really.
Brilliant. Okay, well, Derek, thanks very much for joining me. Thanks to all you who are watching along. Just a reminder to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll be live at full time as well, along with tomorrow morning. And we'll be bringing you all the reactions to the game on our YouTube channel and on our website. You can subscribe there. The link is in the description, and support our work for just £1 for the first 2 months. But until then, we speak to you after the game. Enjoy the game wherever you're watching it, and we'll speak to you at full time.